I will protect your tax money. It won't be spent on prime minister and governor houses. Inshallah, the day PTI government comes in power, these walls of governor houses will be brought down. We will break these walls and make libraries and playgrounds for the public to use. A country that relies on aid? Death is better than that. It stops you from achieving your potential, just as colonialism did. And when the pressure was on us, the team handled it very well. One has to learn to play well under pressure. If one ea I felt it was a tough election was I couldn't see my young son and I couldn't see my wife a lot, but apart from that for her also it was an experience. Personally, I don't think solving corruption is such a big problem. These so-called extremists in Pakistan should be brought into the mainstream. If you marginalize them, you radicalize them. I feel an independent accountability commission should audit all government services. They do not understand Islam, and I think that is one area where perhaps I hope one day I will play a role in actually making people understand what we perceive Islam to be. Imran Khan. Pakistan needs to have decentralization and a good local government system. In fact, the experience at Oxford has really helped me later in life. If there is one venue where Pakistan can beat Australia, then Adelaide is that ground. Spirituality does two things for you. 1. You are forced to become more selfless. 2. You trust to providence. The opposite of a spiritual man is a materialist. If I was a materialist, I would be making lots of money doing endorsements, doing cricket commentary. I have no interest in that. People wasn't the People's Party to come into power again, so they saw NS a viable alternative and not us, because everyone knew we were not ready. What most people didn't realize in the Western countries is that here it's not a question of having supporters, it's a question of getting these votes to the polling stations. People wanted to vote for us, but the mechanics of getting the voters to the polling stations we didn't have. We did not have the money most of all. So for us, any gain we had in election, one vote that we got, was a win. Imran Khan. The war on terror is the most insane and immoral war of all time. The Americans are doing what they did in Vietnam, bombing villages. But how can a civilized nation do this? How can you eliminate suspects, their wives, their children, their families, their neighbors? How can you justify this? I have studied Murad Saeed's case myself. He have not submitted any fake degree. It's a conspiracy against him. If he had any fears, if he was guilty, he wouldn't have went to court. I want to have a president in the US who tries to win the hearts and minds of the Muslim world. One is actually the democracy here. People assume that this election means that there is democracy in Pakistan. There is no democracy. But ultimately it comes down to how the team performs on the day. I have no clear idea about this development, however, I have full faith in the government's Peace Talks Committee. I suggest TTP choose its representatives from among its own leadership. Imran Khan. I think the Americans don't understand that this is a complicated new ball game. People everywhere have seen that a few determined people who were not scared to die can create a huge upheaval within a major superpower.